He was an MLB All-Star.
Game over!
And then the news broke.
The All-Star closer for the Pittsburgh Pirates is in trouble with the law.
Somebody's life is going to be, and has already been, deeply affected by this.
Your role model, you know the right things to do, and just not to do them is disappointing.
This is the story of Felipe Vazquez, an MLB star who went from being a bright spot in Pittsburgh to one of baseball's most vile athletes, all by his own hand.
The victim told police first met Vazquez at PNC Park.
Vazquez was born Felipe Rivero on July 5th, 1991 in San Felipe, the capital of the state of Yaracuy in Venezuela. Not a lot of his early life is visible, but he had a passion for baseball, and that dream would become reality when he signed to the VSL Rays in July 2008. He would be living his dream. The VSL Rays, the Venezuelan farm team of the Tampa Bay Rays, disregarded his 150-pound stature and played him, in which he would show potential. He ended his first career stint going 9-7 and a 2.74 ERA across 85 innings in 2009. He would move up and around different minor league teams, but he showed a lot of potential, especially after being chosen for the MLB's All-Star Futures game in 2012. After a stint with the Charlotte Stonecrabs, the Rays would trade him to the Washington Nationals in February 2014, where he would suffer an elbow inflammation shortly after, ruling him out for the season. After recovery in 2015, Rivero was called up to play in his first major league game against the Phillies, a game where he struck out 2 batters, but also threw 2 hits and gave up a run. After some growing pains, and actual pains, he had more opportunities in the major leagues and would be throwing 100 miles per hour pitches by the end of 2015. The production would be halted to start 2016, reaching a career-high 6.82 ERA to start the season. This would be lowered by late July, but Rivero would be dealt to the Pirates shortly after. The Pirates knew they had something with Rivero. He ended 2016 with a 3.29 ERA. They had him co-close to start the 2017 campaign, but not long after, they promoted him to the primary closer. He was throwing well over 100 miles per hour and even held left-handed batters to less than 1%. 2018 only saw Rivero, now known as Vazquez following a name change, continued to produce. After signing a 4-year extension with the Pirates, he would be so impactful that he was chosen to his first MLB All-Star game, rounding out 2018 with a 2.70 ERA and a 4-2 record. The Pirates sensed that Vazquez can help them end their playoff droughts. Not to mention the struggles that opposing batters face led to him being nicknamed Nightmare. Although the 2019 season didn't start so well. Team success was continuing to go downward, and Vazquez, one of the team's few bright spots, would be involved in a brawl against the Cincinnati Reds. He would avoid a suspension, but would be fined afterward. This wouldn't be so significant, as Vazquez would be chosen to his second straight All-Star game. Vazquez, a Venezuelan relief pitcher, grown into a possible face of the franchise. Before a game against the Giants on September 9th, 2019, Vazquez walks to his teammate Kyle Crick to ask about turning off his speaker. Crick would decline, which upset Vazquez. Not long after, punches followed. The fight would be broken up, but tensions were still in the air. The fight would make news the next day. Many fans across baseball would read and hear about another example of the turmoil in the Pirates locker room. Except this incident was far worse, as Crick would need surgery on his index finger, ruling him out for the season. Vazquez's maturity was starting to be questioned, especially after being known as laid back. Despite this, both Crick and Vazquez would just be fined with 0 suspensions issued. Crick, however, would plan to file a grievance on the league for the punishment, stating that Vazquez had fully been in the wrong here. But unknown to Crick, the rising closer Vazquez was already under the watchful eyes of authorities. This incident would only be the tip of what's really hiding behind the scenes. Not long after, on September 17th, 2019, Felipe Vazquez would be arrested with allegations of owning CP, solicitation of a child, and providing obscene materials to a child. A two-time All-Star in his prime, being charged with some of the most heinous crimes one can commit. Vazquez would be held in an Allegheny County jail without bail. He would be interviewed and admit that he was in a sexual relationship with someone who was 13 when they first started talking. Vazquez was 26 at the time. The two met through social media and start to text through private messages. Vazquez would then visit the victim in Westmoreland County and went through with being sexual with them. They wouldn't meet again after that in person, as the victim's family would move to Lee County, Florida in 2018. But the sexual messages continued to be shared until July 2019. The victim's mother would discover the messages, absolutely disgusted. She would notify the authorities and went off on Vazquez, claiming that they were a minor. Vazquez had claimed that the victim lied about their age, noting that they appeared to look younger but had a fake ID claiming they were 18. The prosecutors would show that Vazquez referred to the victim as kid, showing that he must have known her age. The Pirates would put Vazquez on the restricted list as he faced charges in Pennsylvania, but also had charges in Lee County, Florida, and another one in St. Louis, Missouri, all stemming from the same relationship. Vazquez would stand trial in Pennsylvania, where just under 2 years later, he would be found guilty on 10 counts of sexual abuse of children, 2 counts of unlawful contact with a minor, 1 count of statutory sexual assault, 1 count of corruption of a minor, and 1 count of indecent assault of someone under 16 years old. Vazquez would be sentenced to 2 to 4 years in the state penitentiary while receiving a 23-month credit for being held. In November 2021, immigration officials lodged a detainer against him, and later in May 2023, a judge ordered his removal from the US entirely. Vazquez waived his right to appeal, and on December 1st, 2023, Felipe Vazquez, just under 5 years ago, playing in his second MLB All-Star game, was deported back to Venezuela. After he was deported, Vazquez would switch his last name back to Rivero, and in March of 2024 would sign with the Marineros de Carabobo, a second-tier baseball team in the Venezuelan Major League. Knowing well what he had done to someone who was well under the age of consent, signed him and were celebrating the occasion. Absolutely sick. In 2025, Vazquez would sign with Navegantes del Magallanes into the 2025 season. The club would end up winning the Venezuelan Professional Baseball League Championship in 2026, and Vazquez was on the mound to record the final outs when they had won it. Vazquez, who right now would be 35 years old, went from being a part of a bright future, bringing baseball greatness back to Pittsburgh, to being one of baseball's most sickening wasted talents. The fact that he's free is an injustice to the victim and their family. I really hope that the victim is doing a lot better now.